I think I'm going to be stuck in my tent for a while. Whew. Looks like a lot of people hit those trees. Like me. Another beautiful morning in the Rockies. Welcome to Roamin with the Llamas Road Trip Edition number 2. Let's see what kind of fun we can have today. In part 1 of this road trip, I took you to the top of Glacier Mountain in the Ram Rebel. Now it's time to take the long way back to Montezuma, completing the St. John Trail, and finishing the journey on the Deer Creek Trail. Heading south on General Teller Road, I can see the trail stretching out before me. At 0.3 miles, this trail really smooths out, but I doubt it's going to stay this way. At a half a mile in, I rejoin the St. John Trail. After passing the remnants of the General Teller mine, you can almost see the entire trail as it winds around the high ridge around the valley to your left. At 0.7 miles in, the trail is strewn with loose rocks, and you can see the truck bouncing around. In hindsight, I probably should have aired the tires down a bit more than I did. I was running at 35 psi. I probably should have gone down to 25 to make it a slightly smoother ride. Cresting this mound was unbelievable. You could see for miles to the southeast. And without the recent forest fires, I'm sure you could have seen even further. And the views just keep coming, with drop-offs to your left and right. Driving this ridge back takes your breath away. Towards the end of this descent, the trail gets skinny with a high wall on the right and jagged rocks on the left, testing your running boards and threatening your sidewalls. Here at 1.3 miles, I hit my first real steep descent. The GoPro on the truck really doesn't do justice to how steep and rocky this actually was. Learning from my earlier lesson by the creek, I stop here to get out and walk the obstacle. Looking back up at the truck, you can see how steep this actually is. After walking down, I think I found a line the Rebel can handle. It's slow going, but I make it down without a scratch or a tap. After cresting this mound at 1.4 miles, you find yourself on another ridgeback with even steeper drop-offs, both left and right. At 1.6 miles, I encounter another very steep and very rocky descent. From above, I don't think there's any way I can get down it without doing serious damage to the truck. After getting out and walking it, I pick a line to get down. It's going to be a nail biter, and I'm going to take it very slow. Again, the view from the GoPro does not capture how steep and scary this descent was. Including the drop-off that was right behind the right turn at the end of this descent. After getting down that, I was super impressed with the Ram Rebel. If a stock Rebel can get a novice like me down that cliff, it's a pretty capable truck. Here, looking across the valley, you can see the Deer Creek Trail running down the other side. But it'll be quite a few slow-going miles till we get there. This was a particularly beautiful and placid part of the trail. At 2 miles in, I start an ascent that will take me to the highest point of this trail. At this point of the ascent, you really feel like you're driving to the top of the world. Since that white-knuckle descent, the trail has been pretty uneventful. Just the occasional dangerous rock to avoid here and there. I know from this camera angle, it looks like I'm driving off the right side of the trail. I'm actually not. It's just an odd camera angle, and I know how sensitive these alpine plants are. I would never put a tire off the trail. At 3 miles in, I'm still ascending. The trail smooths out quite a bit for the last climb to the highest point. At 3.4 miles, I come to an intersection and the highest point of this drive, nearly 100 feet higher than the top of Glacier Mountain. To the left is the Deer Creek Trail. To the right is the North Fork of Swan Road, which will take you to Breckenridge. This marks the point where the Saints John Trail ends. Now heading east on the Deer Creek Trail, I find myself on another ridge with stunning drop-offs and views on both left and right. At 4.2 miles, we come to another intersection. To the right is the Middle Fork of Swan Road. To the left, the Deer Creek Trail turns north for its final descent back to Montezuma. At 4.6 miles, I come across the east-west branch of the Radical Hill Trail. This will take you to Webster Pass. At 4.8 miles, I come across a pullover with a good view down the trail. If you see any vehicles come up, move to the side. Vehicles coming uphill have the right of way. Just after the pullover, you can see why it's there. The trail becomes a skinnier shelf road. Here at 5.2 miles, I find the first of two switchbacks. Both are gradual enough that the Rebel can make it in one turn. At 5.6 miles, I re-enter the Pines. So this, combined with the trip up Saints John, meant almost 7 full miles above the tree line. So far, the Deer Creek Trail has been white-knuckle free. although there are a few skinny tippy sections to contend with. This section of trail has some beautiful, picturesque dispersed camping sites. I make a note for future trips to this area. One thing I noticed about the Deer Creek Trail, there was a lot more moisture on the trail. Puddles from little runoffs and tributaries, which I'm sure will make this trail much more difficult after a heavy rain. After navigating what seemed like endless washouts, I enter Snake River Valley, which contains both Deer Creek, just to the right of the trail, and the Snake River, which is on the eastern edge of the valley. At this point in the trail, I start to see other vehicles that aren't as off-road capable. I have a feeling the rest of the ride's going to be quite smooth. And after passing the gate they used to shut down the trail in the off-season, the trail does smooth out quite a bit. With a little less than half a mile left on this drive back to Montezuma, my GoPro fritzes out. It was also tracking my telemetry. So I'll finish the drive back to Montezuma with the side camera. After passing the staging area, the road becomes a well-maintained dirt road. With just a couple things to point out on the way. Like this connecting line that can get you to Webster Pass. My future retirement villa. So what did I learn on my first off-road journey in the Ram Rebel? First, a stock Rebel is an amazingly capable truck. I can't wait to see what it'll do if I ever put a lift and 35s on it. Things I'd do different. A, take off the mud flaps, or replace them with rubber mud flaps. B, stop more often, and just enjoy the view. If you'd like to see this ride in its entirety, I'll put a link here and in the description. Here's how I power up all my action cameras while I'm out dry camping with no access to electricity. I have two Bouge RV 170 watt solar panels hard mounted to the bed of the truck. They do fold up. I've got a hinge here for easier loading. And then those are going in through the back window of the cab, which I'll close 90% of the way on these dusty trails, which goes to my AC 200 from Blue Eddy. And right now, I've been using it 2 nights. I'm down to 60%, so today I'm going to recharge while I'm out on the road. I headed off knowing this was going to be my toughest ride yet. As the Raven Flies is a run created in MTB project, utilizing 3 trails on the western side of Tenderfoot Mountain. The Tenderfoot Trail Road, the Tenderfoot Mountain Trail, and the Tenderfoot Upper Trail. As I come across what I think should be my first turn, I stop to check the MTB project app on my phone. According to my GPS location on the map, the turn I want is further down the trail. I continue on for about another quarter mile and realize that had to have been the turn. So I head back to the trailhead so I can restart this run. About halfway back, well, I guess you can say the incoming weather saved me. I missed a turn
The MTB project map told me the turn was another quarter mile down the trail. It wasn't. And then the weather started rolling in. It wasn't supposed to be in for another 2 hours, but since when is a weatherman right? I'll come back tomorrow morning and try As the Raven Flies again. Well, there's a storm rolling in. Luckily, can't show you the whole movie. But luckily I had some downloaded to my iPad. Oh, I think I'm gonna be stuck in my tent for a while. The following morning, I first planned on doing Webster Pass in the Rebel. But last night's storms made some of its creek crossings impassable. There was even more rain in the forecast for this afternoon. So it was iffy if I could even try it tomorrow. I decided to change plans, pack up camp, retry As the Raven Flies, and then head east to find a place to spend the night closer to the mountain hike I have planned. Packing up a wet campsite isn't fun. What's less fun is cleaning up after previous campers. I always police the area before I leave a campsite, something I learned way back in Boy Scouts. And with all the public lands being closed to camping across the West, this is where I'm supposed to remind you to pack out what you pack in. But, as any sociologist will tell you, 10 to 20% of societies are just plain assholes. Pleading with them doesn't work. Shaming them doesn't work. Facts before their very eyes doesn't work. So, if we responsible people want to keep public lands open for camping, it's up to us to clean up after the idiots. Rant over. Now, let's head on to retry As the Raven Flies. I'm back in Dillon. It's time for take 2 of As the Raven Flies. I have to admit, I was a little bit nervous attempting this trail. The first mile and a half, there's a 600-foot climb, and with the struggles I had on the Snake River Trail and that climb, I just put it in my mind to take the slow, deliberate rest when needed. The views overlooking the Dillon Reservoir while going up the Tender Mountain Foot Trail were stunning. For what I know is going to be frequent stops, you can't pick a better view while you catch your breath. Altitude. Well, look at that view. Oh, okay. Another mile of uphill. Great. What made this climb even more difficult was during the climb, there was even steeper sections that required momentum to get up. With no flat or downhill in front of it, they were all but impossible. Breath caught. For how long? Let's see. This is becoming a mockery. I'm embarrassed. There's no air. It'll catch my breath walking. At this point, I realized I'm not making it to the top with my pedals. The steeper sections needed to be walked if I wanted to be in any shape to do the downhill once I got to the top. Perfect. A breath-catching wrench. This trail's telling me, go back to Chicago, old man. But being a stubborn, lifelong Chicagoan, I pressed on. A lesson for today, kids. Make sure you're acclimated to this elevation more than 3 days before you attempt a trail like this. Hi, buddy. How are you? Hello. Another half mile uphill. And there was a local telling me this is hard, so that's good. I don't feel as bad. All right, let's see if we can make it a little further. At least the views are stunning while you're catching your breath. Sometimes you need a life lesson to tell you gotta work a little harder to get to a certain place and skill level. And this is one of those lessons. In 3, 2, 1. There we go. I put in what I thought was a pretty good effort, but the trail just kept getting steeper and steeper. I had to make a call. Either get to the top exhausted or get to the top with enough left in the gas tank to enjoy the downhill. So I'm eating my crow and walking it to the top. I've made it, I think. It is one hell of a climb. It really was one hell of a climb. The downhill better be worth it. All right, hopefully we're rested enough to deal with the downhill. Without further ado, let's boogie. And we're gonna take it easy because we don't know what's after each turn. Whew. Looks like a lot of people hit those trees. Like me. Whoops. One of these days I'm gonna learn not to leave those pedals hanging so low. At one point during this downhill, something very significant happens. See if you can spot it before we get to the end of the run. Pretty. Don't have time for gazing though. Almost lost it. slick. Did have a lot of rain last night. Did you notice? Gotta check where I am on the map. Holy sh**. I lost my phone. Unbelievable. I walked up to a point that I knew was too far. Luckily, my Apple Watch has cellular. The bad news was I only had 6% battery left because it didn't charge properly the night before. I called my wife in Chicago, and just before I got cut off, I think she heard me instruct her to call my phone every 2 minutes until I answered it. I realized I had a GoPro on my chest, so I looked at the footage, found out exactly where the phone fell off, walked down to that spot. I looked around for a few minutes, didn't see it. Then I heard it ring. It was 4 feet off the trail under a bush. All this phone finding took about an hour. Here, the completion of As the Raven Flies goes to the right for another half-mile of single track, then connects with the dirt road I parked on, and you ride that back about 3/4 of a mile. But another storm was rolling in, and I had to take a shortcut back. What do I know and uses this? Fingers are getting ripped up by pine needles. Ow. MTB project rates this route as intermediate. And I would agree, the downhill section is intermediate. There wasn't anything too hairy. It was very relaxing, and you could stay very in control and enjoy the ride. The uphill, however, unless you're in peak condition and used to this altitude, I would rate it as very difficult. But that's just me. And it's coming down. The trail that had me cursed. Oh. I was so close to the end too when I lost the phone. Well, all's well that ends well. My decision to pack up camp this morning turned out to be a wise one. It really started coming down. I was hoping to take the scenic Loveland Pass back to I-70 as I headed towards Georgetown, but I didn't know how bad this storm was going to get, so I stuck to the interstate. As I got into Georgetown, I got online and looked for a hotel room to spend the night because I wasn't going to set up camp in this storm. I luckily stumbled upon the Clear Creek Inn. I can't recommend this place highly enough. I didn't shoot any video inside because I didn't have the owner's permission, but let me just tell you, this place is beautiful. Now it was time for a hot shower and my first sleep in a real bed in 5 days. I'm gonna need the rest. I have one more epic journey to take before I head back to Chicago. The next morning, I woke up with the sun and headed up Guanella Pass to what has been called both the easiest 14er and the hardest 3.5-mile hike you'll ever do. All right, here we go. I'm at 11,629 feet. Going up to 14,000. That's where we're going. The good news is the first part's downhill. Allow you to warm your legs up for the ascent. The bad news is at the end of this, when you're tired, you got to come back up this. Obviously still not acclimated to this altitude after almost a week. I have a feeling there's going to be many stops on the way up. Can't believe that is only 3 miles away. It looks like forever. And I was told, keep drinking water even though you're not thirsty. Morning. The early birds. How long did it take you to get up there?
Just over 2 hours, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it.
You actually got to cross this river? Looks like you do. Is there another crossing up here? And again, maybe not.
Want to go first? It's going to take us a long time.
Oh, no, you know what? Show me the way, because I have no idea.
Together.
All right. I'm glad I had someone show me the way. Pace yourself, stay hydrated, and it'll be worth the view. So far we've come. It's a good spot to rest.
It is.
Before that climb.
Yeah, don't look up.
Nope. Hey, chipmunk. How you guys doing?
Good, how are you? Tired.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad to know your young legs are tired. I thought it was just me.
You guys are almost there.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're doing the hard work now.
Yes. All right. Another good spot to rest. Right up here. And catch a view. One and a half to go. Look, snow. It's gonna be hard to see because it's backlit. But that is stunning. I've done 24-mile hikes on hilly Wisconsin terrain that are a cakewalk compared to this. Morning. And all these people running this thing, I won't say how they're making me feel. Positive thoughts, right? That is what's left. All the way up to there. How you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Getting there. Do you want me to get one of the both of you?
I'm sure if you can, if I can get there without freaking out. Yeah.
Let's take it slow. Try and get the peak in the background. And go what you once sent about. Wow, getting cell service up here. Weird. All right, feel refreshed. The legs are a little wobbly.
How you doing?
Good, how you doing?
It's worth it.
You sound a lot better than a lot of people we saw. They look like they're on the deck.
Oh, good. I have to say, I'm getting a little vertigo-y. Like there. All right. Got our heart rate down to 121. Wow. Take it slow. You gotta be kidding me. I just got a phone call. You okay?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
How about you? Feeling it?
Yeah, I'm feeling it. The altitude more than anything.
How old are you?
57.
Oh, okay. I'm 63. Stop.
Yep. Fuel up.
Yeah, fuel up. We'll catch you up there.
All right, hopefully see you at the top. You make it all the way? Yeah? I know how you feel.
Hope you make it.
Thanks. Morning.
How you doing?
Okay.
Hang in there.
You can really see the haze from the forest fire up here too. All right. I think the protein bar is starting to kick in. Feeling a little bit of strength coming back. That's what's left. For a while there, I was really ready to call it quits. Someone told me that was a trick rock. How we doing, Rod?
We're doing good, Mark.
All right, the last push in snow. You did it. You can cross it off the bucket list.
Yeah.
Just trying to find a line. Just keep looking for those things.
Well, good luck, y'all.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I kind of had an impasse here. I want to go down that way. Hi.
You're so close.
Yep. Almost there. And there's the top. Maybe 100 yards away. All right. What does my watch keep telling me my workout's over? For lack of movement. I'm at the top of a damn mountain. Shut the hell up, Apple Watch. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mark. You did it. Your first 14er. This was your first one?
Yes, sir. After lunch on the summit, with some marmots looking on, I headed back down to the trailhead, where I encountered some mountain goats blocking the trail along the way. This was truly a bucket list kind of day, and everyone I encountered on the trail was friendly, encouraging, and just genuinely nice. It really restored my faith in humanity. I hope you enjoyed watching this road trip as much as I enjoyed making it, and I hope it inspires you to get out there and get active. Until next time, keep biking, keep hiking, keep wheeling, and keep roaming with the llama.